everybody. We are here tonight at Homestead Bar and Grill, and we are live. I'm here with Benjamen Hart, and he is the, can I call you a master mixologist?
Probably not.
I'm sure you are. So anyway, I'm going to flip it over to him because I've got some questions for him, but I hope that you enjoy our live video. Okay, so we're going to do it this way.
Okay.
Can you see you?
Yeah. Maybe bring it. There we go.
Okay, you make it how you like it. So I asked you a few questions to get started for tonight, and one of them was, what makes Homestead so unique?
I think it's the culture that we built here. We really wanted to get people to get to know each other and figure out who they are, like, in this group. The cool thing is, since we've opened in the last year and a half, we've had people that like didn't know each other at all, and now they know each other, and that's built with, like, you know, just building that atmosphere where anybody can come in and start talking to anybody else. And that's like having a good staff that's there, like they can make the language go from this person to that person, talk about sports, talk about anything that's going on in the world, and be comfortable in doing that. And then filling that with good drinks, good food, and good beer, because that just makes everything flow even better, especially with a couple drinks down your throat. So that helps.
Well, that's true. And I noticed that on the menu you do have signature drinks and you have signature food. So tell us a little bit about that.
So when we first started in Meridian with the signature drinks and stuff, I had to start kind of simple with you know, drinks people knew. So things like Sex on the Beach and, you know, Bloody Marys and Tequila Sunrises. And I kind of made a big joke about it and called it like the Guilty Pleasures cocktail list. Stuff people want to order but they're afraid to, so we put that on there. And then with every evolving cocktail list, the cocktails get a little more complicated, a little more complex. So I'm teasing people's palates with the cocktails and getting content that they've probably never had before, like cocktail just like Ameripecan, creme de violet, things like that, and playing with their palate. We have over 16 bitters in-house, so there's a lot of things we can do to make a cocktail different and better. The food, on the other hand, we have our kitchen manager who, like, we personally set up weekends where we just have everybody sit around a table and we mess with food so we can figure out what our favorites are and what the favorites of the restaurant can be. We're actually going through a food menu change in the next 2 weeks or so. And this time we kind of let the cooks go crazy with it. And they got to pick. They all sat around and then kind of like Iron Chef'd it and figured out what they want to do next and how they want to excel our menu. So it's not just like, hey, here's your menu you're making. They're like, this is the menu we made to make you. So I think those favorites will help people taste what we want them to taste, and it comes more from a passion than it does just like, oh, here's food on a table for you to eat. So that's kind of like our signatures and our home style, like food that we love doing. So.
Well, I know you mentioned that it's rustically homemade, and I love that title. And but now I know one of the things that you brought to our table, and hey, everybody, you're going to get to see what I got to sample and what I got to look at. But one of the things that really intrigued me is, tell me how you came up with that Mega Mary.
Well, obviously the Mega Mary is, I mean, you can't really take claim to making a big Bloody Mary, but we wanted to do it where it was cost efficient for us, but something that blew people's minds. So again, we sat down, kitchen manager, me, the owners, and figured out, what do people want to see that's on a menu, on a Bloody Mary, that's awesome, that is kind of a meal and kind of a full deal. So that's where you get, I mean, you literally get the chicken wing, the cheeseburger slider, the pretzel, the chili, the veggies, the beer, all in one 25-ounce mug. So it's pretty crazy. So it's something that like has blown up in the Treasure Valley. People really do love it. We sell tons of them every week, and it's just kind of a concept that we all put together. I'm not going to say we made it, but like we made our version of it.
Well, it's amazing because I had never seen anything like it, and I love that option because it sets you apart. And for those of you that haven't been here, you really need to come out and do this. But this isn't where they're stopping. You guys have started a new venture, haven't you?
Yeah, so we have the food truck that we run. We've actually just started filling out events like crazy. So our food truck is a full bar. We have four taps, so you can have any beer you want for any event, up to 4 taps, obviously. Wine, liquor. So I designed the front half of it, so it's a fully functional bar, which makes it really cool because you can go to a wedding and get a vodka soda all day long, but you can't get a sidecar, a Negroni, an old fashioned, a rye, old fashioned, anything. So we can make everything that's in there, anything in the book, we can make it in there. And then the joke is the kitchen here is the same size as it is in the food truck. So you can get any item on our menu in that truck, all in one shot. So
wow,
it's actually pretty cool.
Usually, because food trucks specialize in just certain things, but you're telling me you have a full menu, the same one you have here?
Yeah, so depending on the event, we can do full menu or we can do special little things. Really up to what the consumer wants, but that's kind of our goal, is to be able to do anything we do here and make it portable, and then have a full service bar as well.
Excellent. So tell me a little bit about, one of the signature foods you didn't mention was your Idaho mac. Tell me about that.
The Idaho mac started as a joke about, I don't know, 9 months ago. I was like, man, I wonder what like a baked potato, a loaded baked potato and macaroni and cheese would taste like together. So we took our like really good French fries, put them in the bottom of a bowl, and then just piled mac and cheese, sour cream, onions, and bacon in there, and it was explosions in our mouth. So we originally had that like on a secret menu, and then so many people found out about it that we were making so much of it. Now it's on the menu, and it's on the menu to stay.
Excellent.
So it's delicious.
So what should people know about you besides your atmosphere and things like that? If somebody had never heard about you and they wanted to come here but they just didn't know, tell them why they should come.
Well, if you don't like people and that's not an issue. The food will always be good, the cocktails will be great, and then the beer selection is massive, and we ever change it. So there's always 40 beers on tap, it's always changing. And we get a pretty good pull on the beer around the Northwest. So if you, let's say you don't like people, but you want a good meal and good beer, you can come here. But the best part about it is every person that comes here pretty much makes a friend. So you can come here if you do like people. And that's the shining star I like, is people meet here and they love what they see here, and they all become friends. So that's kind of why you can't find a spot at the bar top tonight, because they all know each other and they're all sitting together.
Well, and it is packed. I'm going to give you a tour of the inside here when we're done. But tonight's a special night anyway. Thursday nights you do brewery night.
Yeah, so every Thursday is brewery night. And so what we do on brewery nights is I require, for obvious reasons, I require every brewery that wants to play with us to bring 4 cases of glassware, because it'll be gone in about an hour and a half. That's 96 glasses. And then what we do is we carry anywhere between 6 and 15 of their beers, and they'll come around. They'll sample out all the beer. You get to taste all of it, and then you get to take a glass home with you. So you always have that memory of having, like, say tonight is Slanted Rock. And then, in the next week we have Alameda, Ballast Point, 2 next week actually. And then we've got some other big vendors after that. So every week is a new thing with that. And then other special events are Friday, Saturdays, we do live music. So we pick local artists that are really good and bring them in. Adam Shrivia, one of them. We have the Invisible Swordsman, and a couple other people with no relation, a bunch of good groups. So it's always a good time on Fridays and Saturdays. So that brings people too. So.
Excellent. Well, you are going to learn more about Benjamen in my blog. He did give me a little bit of background, but give us a little synopsis about how you got here.
I've been in the industry for over 10 years. Started out as a silly, my buddy's like, hey, I need a bar back at my bar. Can you come down? And I was like, I don't know what that is, but yeah, I'll come down. I'll make some money. And about 3 months later, I was starting to train as a bartender, fell in love with it. Fell in love with what you can do with liquor, what you can do with all that. And 10 years later, I've been all over the U.S. I've traveled lots of places, learning about cocktail history, learning about distillation processes, learning about beer culture, learning how things are made. I've been in Mexico harvesting agave. I've been, next month I fly out to Kentucky to see bourbon being made. So that's my passion, is learning everything that has to do with spirits and beer and wine, and then I like taking that and then moving it to my staff. And that's how I ended up here. I wanted, the fun story about the Homestead was I started as just a Friday, Saturday bartender, and about 3 weeks in, they're like, hey, can you manage this place? You're better than what you look like. I'm like, okay. So I took it over, and ever since then it's been my baby, and all my little kids are my host, my servers. So I love everything about it. It's great.
Well,
that's how I got here.
Well, thanks so much for having us tonight. We are, I've heard about it. I saw you on Facebook, but for me, it was really coming and enjoying the experience. And I'm really glad you allowed us to come in and take your space and kind of run with whatever we want to do. And but you guys will learn more. So I hope that you'll stick with us so that you can hear more about Ben and you can learn more about Homestead. And make sure that you call them for all of your catering needs, for all of your party needs, because this is the happening place and it's a great place to be. So thanks, Ben.
Yeah.